throws it deep down the middle, looking for Olave. Olave makes the catch, throwing to the end zone up high. Chris Olave makes the catch.
Welcome to Saints All Access, presented by Microsoft Copilot PC, right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. I'm Erin Summers. The Saints fell to the Bears 26-14 on Sunday, but the game wasn't without a share of Saints highlights. From explosive plays on offense to hard-nosed moments on defense, the Saints showed flashes of what they were building. Here are the sights and sounds from the Saints matchup in the Windy City.
The theme of that game, we had our chances. I thought our guys battled. I thought our guys put ourselves in a really good position in the middle of the game to come back and get ourselves back in it. A couple scores, one at the end of the half, one to start the third quarter, but then we just couldn't keep it going. And so credit to those guys. They played better than us. They coached better than us. We got to find the formula that works.
When your process is right, you just go back to your process and you tweak where it's dealing with a screwdriver and not with a hammer.
He had a great week of practice and stepped up for us big time there, at the end of the first half, and then had another big touchdown there, start of the second half. So, we finished the first half out great and started out the second half great. And defense played their butts off, kept us in the game for us to turn the ball over 4 times. And, for that score to be that close, credit to the defense. They did an amazing job.
We're joined now by wide receiver coach Keith Williams. Thank you for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me. This
past game, Chris Olave had his first multi-touchdown game. What was working between him and Spencer Rattler on those 2 touchdown drives?
It was the right coverage at the right time. Kellen did a great job understanding that, and we've been practicing those plays. So we got the coverage we wanted, and the call came at the right time, and everybody involved executed. So it was good, great timing.
How have you seen Olave grow over this season?
He's a worker. He came into the season motivated. Obviously, his season ended last year too early, and this whole off season he's been physically and mentally motivated to come in and have a strong year. So he practices like a savage. I tell him all the time. I've been around a lot of great players, and one of the main characteristics of a great player, the one I've been around, is their practice habits. And he practices really hard, really well, and it shows in the games. It's starting to show week to week.
Does it have anything to do with the energy that you bring at practice? Because I can hear you out there every day. You're very animated, very loud.
Hopefully, I try to get the guys going, because practice is important. Each day has its own theme, and you're not going to be able to get those reps back until the game probably. And so, I try to get them going so, everybody executes and has a strong day every day.
You ran track in college.
I did.
So you have some speed.
I'm faster than CO, if that's what you're about to ask.
Okay, see, I was about to go with Rashid.
Him too. I don't know about Sheed. But CO, I'll give CO the business.
Okay, currently?
No.
Okay, back in the
None
day.
of them currently. None of them currently.
They say that you can't teach speed, but Rashid Shaheed definitely has it. What do you have to focus on then with him to get him to be the best in other areas?
The typical thing with guys who have elite speed like Sheed is just obviously to get them to be able to stop and run intermediate breaking routes, because that's easy. It's harder than it sounds, obviously, but he's done a great job over the time I've been here in developing that part of his game. And once that happens, guys with elite speed, they're hard to cover because you obviously don't know if they're running a deep ball or if they're going to stop. And as a cornerback, a DB, it's hard to decipher that and then react to either one of them.
What has Brandon Cooks done for this wide receiver room?
B. Cooks is awesome. Him and I are from the same city. I've been knowing him for over 10 years, and he's just a great leader. He's still a great player, and he's a great leader in the room with those guys. He relates to them. He understands their adversity and their successes because he's been through the whole gamut of both sides as a player, and so he's been awesome. He's been just awesome, 100% great.
You have a lot of other players, tight ends, running backs that are involved in the passing game as well. How much do you talk to those players about maybe some areas of their game in the receiving aspect of it?
Here and there, just when they come to me, and we have a great offensive coaching staff that no one has any egos or no one feels territorial in terms of you talking to their player. And Chase Haslett, by the way, I've been knowing him for about 10 years. He actually worked as my assistant at Nebraska. So I've been knowing him a really long time. He and I are really close. So when it comes to the tight end specifically, he loves for me to talk to them. If there's anything I see that he's not necessarily focusing on, or even if I'm just reinforcing what he's already saying. So our communication is very fluid throughout all positions.
I was talking to Chase, and he said that you're the one that brought the rugby ball here.
Right.
That's something that you guys use. There's obviously a lot of tools that you utilize in practice to help, but what does catching a rugby ball do for the players?
They love it. Really, it depends on the player, but it helps with extending for the ball. It helps for spreading your fingers. It helps for focus in terms of you actually locating the object that you're trying to catch. And for some players, it helps with their confidence, and it obviously is a tool for warming up also. It just depends on the player. It depends on the type of throw you're throwing. It depends on the angle. It depends on the distance and the velocity. So there's a science to it, and it just depends on each player specifically, what their plan is and what my plan is for them when I use it with them.
Mm-hmm. With quarterback Spencer Rattler, he gets rid of the ball so quickly. What does that do for the receivers in terms of how quickly they have to react and how quickly they have to get down the field or hit their spots?
It's important, and it's beneficial for the wideout, because you know that when you get out of the break, the ball's probably going to be in the air or be very close to being able to be caught. And so that allows you to maintain the separation that you earn from the DB, that you develop from the DB from him, and then now you had a chance to make some yards after the catch.
Mm-hmm. Coming up, it is the Tampa Bay Bucs, and defensively, they've been very good against the run, but they do leave some opportunities in the passing game for success. How are you going to dice them up?
Just hopefully try to get some good matchups. Obviously Kellen calling plays. He's a great play caller, and just trying to get the right play at the right time and hopefully execute that play at that moment.
Well, it's been fun watching the receivers in action this year, and I know there's a lot more ahead of them this season, so we're looking forward to watching. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
On the other side of this break, we are going to break down one of those touchdowns from Chris Olave. The 13-yard touchdown is the feature of this week's expert analysis right here on Saints All Access. Stay with us.
Stands, pumps, now throws to the end zone looking for Olave, who goes high and brings it down again. Chris Olave, second touchdown in as many drives.
Welcome to the Expert Analysis. I am John DeShazier. Now here's the scenario. 3rd and 4 for the Saints at the 14-yard line of the Bears. 9:47 left in the third, and the Saints trail 20-7 at this point. Guys, you want to pay attention to, right here is Chris Olave, who's going to wind up in the money position. Of course, quarterback Spencer Rattler, who throws 2 touchdowns in this one. Watch Alvin Kamara on this one, as well as the offensive line, because anytime you have a touchdown, obviously, you're going to have good protection. So we're going to let it go. We got the 3 wides right here. And you see Rattler going up, calling the play that he wants, setting his protection. And we're going to freeze right here. Olave taking the underneath route. These 2 defenders bump into each other, so now he's immediately in the trail position. So Olave has an advantage here, but can he continue with the advantage? You see Alvin Kamara, who moved on the shift. He comes up to help the offensive line block, and look at that space for Spencer Rattler. Has all the time he needs to make this throw. We're going to let it go a little bit more. Freeze right here. Olave pops open. And now this is really just pitch and catch, because he's got the openings. He's going to the corner, to the pylon. Spencer Rattler in the windup for the throw. The protection pristine right here. And it's an easy throw for Spencer Rattler. Let it go. Touchdown. Saints pulled it within 20-14. Unfortunately, lose the game, but a really, really good scripted play. Great catch and throw by Spencer Rattler and Chris Olave. Chris Olave catches 2 touchdowns in this game. We're going to give you a look at it from behind the Saints offense. And you'll see the 3 receivers here lined up. You'll see Alvin Kamara when he moves on the shift. Spencer Rattler, of course, your quarterback. You're going to get a good idea of the protection coming up the middle, where Alvin Kamara is going to help pick up the pass rush. And again, you'll see Olave slice underneath the defenders. You'll see these 2 guys bump into each other, and that causes a little bit of confusion, and that helps Olave pop open. We're going to let it go. See Kamara shift over. He's going to pick up the pressure coming up the middle, and Olave pops free right there. Wide open, good pitch and catch. Catches it in front of the defender, right at the pylon. That is a touchdown, but that is your expert analysis from the Saints at the Bears on Sunday at Soldier Field.
We're joined now by Luke Johnson, Saints beat writer for NOLA.com. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
The Saints are going into their Week 8 game against the Tampa Bay Bucs, and the Bucs just played Monday night, and they got a loss to Detroit. And that game was something I think a lot of people were looking at because right now those seem to be like two of the better teams in the NFL. What did you see in that game and maybe some weaknesses that the Saints can tap into?
Well, the Bucs right now are not a healthy football team. They just got Tristan Wirfs back a few weeks ago. It's a huge piece for their offensive line, but they're missing other starters there. They spent a significant chunk of the season playing their starting center at left tackle. So they were moving guys all around there. And then you look at what happened in the game. Mike Evans is out for that. He leaves that game. He's going to be out for a significant chunk of the season with broken collarbone. Emeka Egbuka, their really, really good rookie, was kind of playing as questionable. Chris Godwin hasn't played for a while. Bucky Irving hasn't played for a while. So, for them to even get to where they are right now with that level of injury is really impressive, but they are a really banged up unit.
I guess it goes back to their quarterback and Baker Mayfield and what he's been able to do this season so far. They have been banged up in their receiving game, but he still managed to make it work up until this game against Detroit. With all of the options and what he's able to do, especially being able to use his legs, how can the Saints look to limit him?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, he's playing at an MVP level right now. And you're right. I mean, he's done this without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin for a big chunk of the year. They've done a nice job taking advantage of some of their other weapons. Tez Johnson is somebody who was on nobody's radar. He comes out there and he's had a couple of really nice games. Emeka Egbuka, like I said, he might be the offensive rookie of the year. He's outstanding. He's going to be really tough for them to stop. And then they've got Cade Otton. They've got some other unheralded weapons that are really showing up for Baker. But like you mentioned it, for a guy who's 6'1" and 215 pounds and not like this super athlete, he is crazy difficult to bring down once you have him in your grips behind the pocket. He is so elusive, and we've seen it, a lot when the Saints play the Buccaneers. He's kind of wiggling his way out of sacks. He's scrambling for first downs. He's extending plays. He's finding guys open downfield. So he's if it's gonna be a game where the Saints are slowing down this Bucs offense, it's got to start and stop with what they do against Baker Mayfield, because he's been really, really impressive for them this year.
He does have the ability to scramble out of trouble, but they, as a team, have leaned in to their passing game. That's definitely what they're doing. They're top 10 in the NFL in passing offense. Baker only had 2 interceptions on the season, so he's been very efficient. The Saints looking to bounce back from a turnover-prone game themselves and hopefully find some opportunities to force turnovers against the Bucs, because that usually is a great equalizer. Yeah,
that's a huge equalizer if they're able to do it. And I think we've seen some positive signs for the Saints team with their young secondary in particular. You look at the 3 guys on their team who have interceptions right now. It's Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's 23 years old. It's Quincy Riley, who got his first one this last week. He's 24 years old. It's Jonas Sanker, who I think he's 22. That's young players stepping up into big roles and making plays on the ball, and that's what you want to see. And Baker's going to give you some opportunities to do it. Even though he's only thrown the 2 interceptions this year, he's a guy who likes to take risks. He likes to throw the ball deep downfield. So the Saints obviously they can't have the coverage breakdowns which you sometimes see with young secondaries, but they're going to take shots downfield, and the Saints have to be ready for it. And if they are in position, the ball in the air, they can make some plays.
If you look on the other side of the ball, defensively, what they've been able to do, it seems like the Bucs' success starts at the line and their ability to really lock down the run. They're 11th in the league in run defense. What can the Saints do to establish that run game, especially knowing now that Kendre Miller is going to be out this season with an ACL?
And Eric McCoy. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, especially when you consider probably their best player on that defensive front is Vita Vea, about a 350-pound monster in there. It's going to be really tough for this specific game when you don't have your starting center, who's kind of the heartbeat of your offense, to get something going. And then you take Kendre Miller out of the equation too. It's going to be a challenge. I think they're going to have to find ways to try to hit them on the perimeter a little bit, which we've seen Kellen Moore do. We've seen him use a lot of motion, a lot of misdirection. We've seen him get guys out in space with pulling offensive linemen. I think that's going to be how you have to attack this Bucs defense, because when you look at their strength is in the middle, is in the spine of their defense. It's not just Vita Vea, it's Levante David, and it's Antoine Winfield at kind of all three levels. But I think when you can get them extended a little bit, David's late in his career. He doesn't run the way he used to. That might be an opportunity for the Saints to take advantage.
When you look at what the Saints were able to do, especially in that passing game with Chris Olave, how would you like to see him utilized in this game against the Bucs?
Well, I think when you've seen him, these last two games have been the best two games of the season for him. I know that he had the drops against the Patriots, but generally speaking, the production has been really great the last couple of weeks. And we've seen them hit him on some vertical routes. Chris, I think, is somebody who can win on those short routes against man coverage. And the Bucs do have a talented young secondary, don't get me wrong, but if they can get him going consistently on some of those vertical routes, not only does it get the most out of him, it opens up opportunities for other people. If you're forcing Tampa to cover every blade of grass, like they like to say, that's going to open up space for Rashid Shaheed and Brandon Cooks and Juwan Johnson. But that needs to be a part of their offense. I think we've seen it come the last 2 weeks, and hopefully we see more of it.
Going into the first division game of the season,
Crazy,
NFC
right?
South, it's so late to do that, because years past it's been like almost week 1, week 2, we've been in these division matchups. Emotionally, I mean, what does that do for the team knowing that, hey, this is a division game?
I mean, look, this has been, I know the Falcons are like the Saints' main rivals, but like for a number of years, this has been like the most like heated game on their schedule. And even like last year, when they were so banged up at the end of last year, they were missing starter after starter after starter on that offense. They went to Tampa in the end of the year, and they made it a really compelling game when Tampa had stuff to play for still. So like, these types of games, they bring out the best in teams. Even for teams like the Saints who are struggling right now, they tend to elevate in these games. So I think that does add a little bit more to it, and we're going to see how the team responds when they know they're going to be without one of their biggest leaders in Eric McCoy and one of their better offensive players in Kendre Miller. Like, we're going to see what they're made of this week. It's going to be a fun game.
All right. Well, we're back in the Dome this weekend as we face the Bucs. It is an late afternoon game.
Weird, right?
I know. We're getting 3:25. So, you can party a little bit harder before the game, I guess, is what it all comes down to. On the other side of this break, we're going to send it to Stan Verrett, get his recipe for success to get that W in Week 8 against the Tampa Bay Bucs. All of that and a lot more right here on Saints All Access. Welcome back to Saints All Access, presented by Microsoft Copilot PC here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Week 8 is here, and Stan Verrett is serving up the ingredients for a Saints victory over the division rival Tampa Bay Bucs in this week's Recipe for Success.
The Saints play their first division game of the season Sunday at Caesars Superdome against the Buccaneers. Let's take a look at the recipe for success for that game. It begins with resiliency. The Saints coming off a tough loss to Chicago last week, and then they find out that they lost Eric McCoy and Kendre Miller for the season to injuries. So replacements will have to contribute now. That could be any one of 3 players at center and rookie running back Devin Neal in the backfield. But everyone will have to step it up if the Saints are going to get their second win of the season against the division leaders. And at a time like this, it's great to have a franchise stalwart like Alvin Kamara. He'll be counted on not only to make plays, but to help keep things steady on offense. The second ingredient will be finding a balance between continuing to open up the offense and not turning the ball over. Saints had 4 giveaways against the Bears, 3 interceptions, and a fumble. Kellen Moore says Spencer Rattler has to learn from those mistakes, but one thing he can't do is to let those mistakes keep him from pushing the ball down the field when he has opportunities to deliver big plays. Rattler was at his best on 2 long touchdown drives, both ending in scoring tosses to Chris Olave. That's something to build on when he gets opportunities against Tampa Bay on Sunday. And finally, the defense had been solid against the run, but that changed in Chicago. The Bears ran for 222 yards, piling up 5.6 yards per carry last week. The Buccaneers certainly saw that tape, and you can expect them to try to test the Saints' run defense. But their running backs are banged up, and so are their wide receivers. Baker Mayfield has kept Tampa Bay afloat with MVP-level play, but the Saints can't make things easier for him by giving him a productive run game on Sunday. Aaron, back to you.
It's Crucial Catch Month, and the Saints' Crucial Catch game is always a special day, as it's time to honor those battling cancer and celebrate survivors. During the Saints' Week 5 game against the New York Giants, Saints fan and winner of ABC's The Bachelor, Kelsey Anderson, gave one cancer survivor an unforgettable surprise.
My name is Kelsey Anderson, and we are here at the Saints game to surprise a cancer survivor and a Saints fan. We have 2 Super Bowl tickets for her, and it is October Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Crucial Catch is partnering with us to do this. Let's go surprise her! So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, we are going to go down to the sidelines, and we're going to party pregame together on the field.
In October of 2021, I had a routine screening. It came out that I had invasive ductal carcinoma that had spread to the lymph nodes. I went through 20 weeks of chemotherapy. During that time, my dad passed away from prostate cancer. Today means so much to me because he cried when the Saints won the Super Bowl. He was the biggest Saints fan.
My mom was diagnosed with stage 3 and stage 4 breast cancer. I feel like we got so much more time with her because she really advocated for herself.
Can I hug you?
Yes! On behalf of the Crucial Catch and the NFL, we wanted to give you guys Super Bowl tickets to San Francisco Super Bowl 60.
No way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing your story. Seriously, it means so much to so many people.
So much. Oh my God. Any way that you can get awareness out to people to get checked, get screened, because if you catch it early, you can live for many, many, many years and do everything you want to do.
It's time to step away from the X's and O's and see how one player keeps his mind fresh with a different game. We're catching up with Saints safety Justin Reed to find out how chess helps him make plays on Sunday on this week's Off the Gridiron.
Jay Reed here. We're at my house here in New Orleans. I have my favorite chessboard behind me, one of about like 4 or 5 that I own. And this is my favorite just because the pieces just look so sick. Like they're just so sick the way they look. This is actually my favorite piece, the knight. And I like the knight just because it's such a unique piece that it can hop over other pieces. It's the only piece that really gives the queen fits, really gives the queen problems. Queen's always got to watch out for that knight. There are so many similarities between the football field and the chessboard. You get a starting position, you can call that an offensive or defensive formation. You get a starting position, and from a starting position, you kind of have an idea of these are the type of plays, this is the way that they might attack based on this formation. And that's the same in football and in chess, based on the chessboard. If they get in this certain formation of their pieces, you can take a pretty good guess that this is what they're going to do next. And you saw a little bit of that when I was playing with Mo earlier, that based on where the positions were, I was like, okay, I know that this is going to be his plan of attack. So I can move a piece that'll do 2 things. I'll move a piece that both defends his attack and simultaneously attacks him at the same time. And when you're doing that consistently, you're playing really high quality chess, and the same with the football field. If you can do multiple things with less movement, then that just increases your overall efficiency and allows you to play offense or defense a lot faster and tighter.
That's going to do it for this edition of Saints All Access presented by Microsoft Copilot PC. Thanks for joining us as we prepare for another big week of black and gold football. Don't forget to follow along all week on NewOrleansSaints.com and across all of our social platforms for the latest updates and interviews throughout the week, leading into the Saints' Week 8 matchup against the Tampa Bay Bucs. See you next week right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network.